Welcome back to a brand new episode of Charm City Beat. It is week one. We are back on your regularly scheduled YouTube viewing schedule, whatever. But we are back. Week one. Tomorrow, we take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Hell of a matchup ahead of us. Guys, it's been a while. How y'all doing?
I'm excited. It's kind of hard to believe it's here already. I feel like we're the first team to go, which is kind of fun. And I think it's going to be a hell of a way to play. How to open up the season anyway. Excited.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we kind of figured this was going to happen one way or another. It's not where we wanted it or thought it should have been, but, it's start of season, week one.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful season ahead of us. Got a lot of challenges early on. Jesus Christ. But it's going to be fun. A lot of fun games there, and we're going to talk about it. Right at the gate, so we do have to acknowledge some bad news. We have been on a little bit of a vacation. But in that time, Coach Joe D, the offensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens, passed away. Absolutely heartbreaking. They will be wearing decals on their helmets dedicated to him and Jacoby Jones. So, again, the Ravens love a good fight story. I think this is the right motivation for him to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, the O-line, I think, is the one part of this football team that everyone's a little bit concerned about just because they haven't played all preseason together in the actual games anyway. I think they've been playing together all season. And guys like Ronnie Stanley were concerned whether or not he's going to be. I know he's allegedly having a really good camp, but he did not look good the last couple of years, so that's a concern. Two other guys, their right tackle and their left guard, I think, right guard, they both walked. So obviously they're replacing a bunch of different pieces, and so having the offensive line coach pass away, I think, in some ways, could be motivation for this group going into this game. You've got a lot to prove, and I think if the O-line ends up being something that we don't have to worry about for this football team, we're going to win a lot of football games because this team did not lose a lot of players outside that O-line.
Yeah, no, for real, honestly. Most of the court's offense is coming back, and that bodes well for the Ravens. Russ?
No, yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the worst coaches we probably could have lost at the time that we lost him. Yeah. He was very excited when we got Rosengarter for our tackle because he's like, we got the tackle.
Yep.
And Linderbaum has grown great because of him.
Voorhees.
Voorhees' recovery. Most of Stanley. And he's been here since 17.
Yeah. Let's see our starting lineup right now. Looks like left tackle Ronnie Stanley. You got left guard Andrew Voorhees gets the start. That's going to be exciting to see. I'm real high on him right now. I'm really high on him. Tyler Linderbaugh, of course, center, no question. Daniel Falele, right guard, and then Pat McCarry, the Swiss Army knife of the offensive line at right tackle with Rosengarten waiting.
Are you guys surprised at the right side of this line? Whether I guess we're kind of shocked Rosengarten didn't develop as fast as we thought he might. Because I think this team does value having McCarry as that swing guy. But to have the Mountain at right guard, I mean, where you guys thoughts? The man's like 700 feet tall, like a giant.
Yeah, freaking Mount Everest out there. Yeah,
can he move?
Well, he's going to have to move because we just
can't move. That's his problem.
Play one is Pat Ricard behind the mountain, Lamar handing it off to Derrick Henry. You're talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, 900 combined pounds.
And I'm afraid 500 of those pounds are going to run into 400 of those pounds that can't get his ass moving up the field.
We'll see. He's a tackle. I think he's probably more nimble than we give him credit for.
Yeah.
There's a tackle that we've moved inside the guard.
I know. Yeah.
What's that say? And we drafted another tackle.
He wasn't that high of a draft pick, was he? I think there's I am optimistic that it tells you a lot to think about Cleveland. that this guy they did draft in the third round isn't good enough to play on this Ravens team. But secondly, I think that it's kind of like an experiment in a way, like because if he is able to play guard, you're talking about an absolute fortress
Yeah.
at the front gates of this castle.
Here's the thing. It's really low risk, high reward. Like you said, if it works out, you have a giant, a wall sitting there to block for one of the best running backs in the modern era. One of the best quarterbacks that can scramble in the modern era. There's really no loss. Ben Cleveland, though, sitting as a backup, this is a third round pick. This is a guy I thought he was eventually going to get a starting job. He's probably not with us much longer after this year, I'd assume, unless they just keep him as a body.
Yeah, it's another guy that it's a rare miss on the O line. I think the Ravens really pride themselves on finding outside Linderbaum, outside Jonathan Ogden, outside maybe Ben Grubbs. They haven't really prioritized offensive linemen in the first round, and then the guy from the blind side. So who they have, but they've also found guys like Marshall Yonda. They found guys like all those type of guys that they brought in that are later round picks. They've turned into superstars, and I think it's kind of shocking, honestly, that it's a kudos to the O line, including the late offensive line coach for that production. I do think that the mountain playing inside against a guy like Chris Jones can't be a bad thing.
No.
There's going to be times where Linderbaum and him are combined just 500 pounds just blocking Chris Jones. Like, that's wild to me.
That's probably a majority of the reason. Again, interior D linemen are way better than they used to be. They're not just guys to clog up holes. Like, these are guys that can move. These are guys that are going to pass rush you essentially from the inside. So again,
and that mildly concerns me if he cannot be quick enough to get off the stunts.
That's true. But again, you have Tyler Linderbaum, who is one of the best centers in the NFL right now.
John's actually spin moving around him. Like, that would be like Titan going around Saturn. Like, you've got a little bit of arm span here. Like, you're giving Lamar a little bit of time is all you're asking. And this, can he get the ball over them is the other question.
That's something I hadn't thought about. That's
why you don't have 6'5"
Zay Flowers down there.
Line. Oh god, the Ross line according to Ross. Oh man, no. Yeah, offensive line is going to be interesting. I'm not as concerned. Again, the extra motivation of the passing of Coach Joe D. That fuels it. Not to mention, I mean, if Ronnie Stanley could stay freaking healthy a season, might have something.
See, that's the other thing you got to remember. Tyler Linderbaum also has to help Vandal Voorhees, so he can't help both new guards at the same time.
Yeah, I think the pressure could come up the middle, but I do think that between Lamar and Derrick Henry, they're going to move the pocket. And it's the Ravens. I feel like if it was any other team, you might have second thoughts, but I give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to an offensive line because they've always had good offensive lines. And as long as this line is gelling by, say, November, then I'll be happy because it's going to be a growing pains. It's going to be a little challenging, but I don't know. I think having Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson can alleviate some of those pain that you might not be able to do if you had an Aaron Rodgers back there. If you had a Jared Goff type of quarterback that can't move.
Yeah. Again, most defenses are going to spend too much fucking time trying to figure out who's running. That's the thing. The O-line, I'm not even worried. As long as these guys can just keep up whatever the hell's going on in the backfield. Not to mention, you do have Pat Ricard who can assist with blocking. We are blessed to still have a fullback in the NFL.
2 tight ends that I think they'll probably at times use in pass blocking. You don't know who's going to go out.
We got 3 good tight ends. We got Kolar, Likely, and Mark Andrews. So, again, not worried about the blocking schemes here. To be honest with you, and I'm not even trying to be overconfident, I'm not too worried in general.
I'm with Jordan. They haven't played together in a game.
At the same time, I think how much does a preseason game matter? I think the fact that they probably played together on a ton of snaps against the Packers. They probably played a ton of snaps in practice together.
Mhm.
I just don't know how much lining them up for a drive or two is that
Linderbaum
big of a
hasn't.
deal. Yeah, that's true.
Linderbaum's been non-contact for a good. Ben Cleveland was playing center most of the preseason games.
That was nuts.
I think it's one of those things where by the second half of the game on tomorrow night, it's over. Who cares? Who gives a shit? They've had more at that point. They've had more snaps together than every O line in preseason to date. So, like, I think as long as they don't melt down to start the game, they don't have bad penalties.
Yep.
They open up some lanes. I think again, Derrick Henry, healthy, fresh, motivated. I think if they can get him outside, they spread. I think they're going to spread these defenses out a little bit. They're going to go 12 man type of packages and stuff and really get three wide receivers in the field, two tight ends, spread this defense out to the point where you can't stack the box. You can't do a ton of stunts up the middle because Zay Flowers run across the middle. Like, that's what they got to worry about with this offense with Mock. And so I think they're going to make it so that the O-line doesn't have to do the brunt work.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We got the blessing of week one where there's no tape. It's essentially skill versus skill, speed versus speed. You're just playing ball. You're playing best ball. Whoever plays the best football is going to win. That's straight up. These are two of the best teams in the NFL. These are the AFC Championship game of last year. As long as the Ravens play clean football, there shouldn't be an issue.
As saying that, though, as you say, there's no tape. As you also mentioned, this is a big difference, but the only difference is our running back. Yes, big difference. Not saying it's anything then, but
our running back was Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell before he tore his leg up, bro. Like, you're getting Derrick Henry. Of course,
I understand that. We're also
like
our offensive ran through the whole league, and then we stopped running.
I don't
think that's not so much. I don't think that's personnel. I do think second half of last year, Lamar Jackson's passing was next level. I think he was top 5 in offense passing going into the playoffs after his experience against like the Dolphins and the 49ers and the Lions and the Rams. I'm optimistic. I think Mockin being in year 2 is like the biggest impact that I'm excited about.
Yeah. Derrick
Henry is a guy that you don't want to give him any type of running room because he's just going to take these corners for rides, which I'm super excited about. But to Ross's point, it is the same offense. So it is a receiving core is actually down a receiver because we lost Beckham. Bateman, who knows if they're on the same page. They weren't last year. But he has all the intangibles to step up and be that elite number 2. Mm-hmm. I do like Zay Flowers in year 2. And that's the difference between this team and last year's team is that this year's team has a Zay Flowers that's played a year. It's got an Isaiah Likely that's played a full season in a very in meaningful snaps. Yeah. I think that's big.
It's experience. Again, I'm trying to even think. I mean, the Chiefs have Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce, obviously.
Xavier Worthy makes me a little nervous, but it's Xavier Worthy in game 1 of his first career. And even, I think, Andy Reid said he doesn't know what Worthy's going to give him. He's been good in practice.
Yeah.
To see if it translates. I assume we'll see a lot of Wiggins on him because of the speed. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, real talk, it's going to come down to the defense. I think our offense matches up well against their defense. And their offense is one of the best offenses in the NFL. They got the Super Bowl rings to prove it. It's going to come down to our defense, playing contain. I think we can. I think it's possible. Nnamdi. Oh, I mispronounced that. Nnamdi Madubuike, I think he's going to cause havoc in the middle of that line. Odafe Owe has to step up. Going to have to really contain the edges, really.
Yeah, I feel like people are pointing to the loss of Clowney. I think that's the biggest loss on defense. I like Patrick Queen, but I think Trenton Simpson's going to step up and maybe even be better than Patrick Queen by the end of the year. But I think losing a legitimate edge rusher, that's the team's biggest need. And I know Ajabo had a good camp, but it's camp. And Owe's always been all hype for the most part. He's actually played really well in the playoffs. But it's, I mean, and then who knows what you get from Van Noy, who is another year older. So, I mean, Madubuike's got to do what he did last year or better to give this team a chance to give these outstanding cornerbacks and safeties an opportunity to make plays.
for us.
No, that's I got nothing.
Oh god, yeah. No, I agree with you on that. No, I think Simpson seriously, he definitely probably would be a trade piece in about 4 years because again, you're probably going to want to keep Roquan, or maybe it might make an interesting competition there at some point. I think Simpson has everything it takes to be a number one inside guy. Luckily, now we have him to replace Pat Queen, who, I mean, he helped out a lot. He won All Pro, and now he's on the Steelers doing whatever the hell they do in Pittsburgh. Um, how do we feel about Nate Wiggins? What's his status? Because I remember he got banged up a little bit in preseason. Is he good?
No one's hurt.
No one's hurt. Okay.
No one of note.
No one's new.
I mean, I think the only injury report I saw was Ali and Isaac.
That's not good. I mean, that's not
my biggest concern. I do like Trenton Simpson, but I do. If you remember the Kansas City versus Ravens game a few years ago, Mahomes picked on Patrick Queen, relentlessly. But it's a different beast. I think Patrick Queen didn't have a Roquan then. He certainly didn't have a preseason then because of 2020 and all that stuff. I feel like this is, I think, a year in the system, 2 years really in the system, I think is a little bit different. But I do think Patrick Queen's going to go after Trenton Simpson in this football game. And I do think he's going to go after Nate Wiggins in this football game. I do like Nate Wiggins, though, because I don't think the Chiefs really have a strong receiving threat. Like, there's no Tyreek Hill on this football team.
And so I don't get that.
I don't get why they let him go. I know Patrick. I know Hamilton.
I don't think it's hurt them.
No,
it hasn't hurt them.
Technically not.
No,
and I don't think it's worked out well for Tyreek Hill, except for maybe making money.
That's all.
Yeah, I mean, he's like going all the way off. But you're right; he didn't win a ring last year for sure. Yeah.
Oh, you're just flexing your ring?
Well, rings matter.
Rings matter. Rings matter. This guy, wow, using rings as props like he's about to get his ass kicked this weekend. Whoops, sorry. Fantasy football talk. No, I mean, rings do matter, though. Pat Mahomes has them, man.
We all were like, what are they going to do without Tyreek Hill? He's still going to go be Patrick Mahomes.
They signed Taylor Swift. That's what happened.
I wonder how much the fact that we played them last, we have a lot of tape on them, and the Chiefs haven't changed anything. Like the Ravens, you kind of the Ravens, but they have Derrick Henry, and I think that's going to really force a Chiefs team that hasn't tackled anybody off season to like get ready for a guy like him. Whereas the Ravens know it's Travis Kelce, and I wonder if they can use the second half of last year's playoff game to sort of keep that offense in check, because I mean they was like 17-10 going into the fourth. Like they did a good job of keeping him contained, and losing Mike McDonald I think could hurt too. It is Zach Orr's debut as a head defensive coordinator, so that'll be another interesting chess piece.
Zach Orr versus Andy Reid. That's
That's crazy.
Betting against Zach Orr, though. I mean, he's done nothing but prove doubters wrong ever since he was undrafted. Remember, he was in North Texas, and then he wouldn't get recruited out of high school, went to North Texas, didn't get drafted, ended up as a undrafted free agent, forced his way onto the Ravens, became an All-Pro, fucking tore his neck up, couldn't play anymore, came back, was on that godforsaken Jaguars coaching staff when it was all hell, came back and worked all his way. I mean, he's done nothing but persevere, and I think this is just another example of how he might overcome the naysayers. I mean, he could be the next. Wouldn't shock me if he's freaking defensive coordinator of the year.
Wouldn't surprise me, and he has the players to do it. Again, I think he learned a lot from Mike. I don't think we're going to see much different. It might be some variance, but I really don't think it's going to change too much because what worked last year is still here. And it's only been enhanced. I mean, sure, we lost Clowney, but who knows what could happen.
So the only problem, no matter how good he's going to do, we had historical defense last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally historic. It did things so
unreal.
It's never going to look as good. And let's not remember Mike McDonald wasn't the all-star he was right off the gate. Granted, he had practice scrub people playing most of the games.
Yeah.
But like I said, Zach Orr's learned under him, and as we also pointed out, who did he coach last year? The leader on the field of
That's
the
true.
defense.
And what a better relationship to have. What a better relationship.
And he's definitely the passionate one. I saw an article recently where Mike McDonald, he was never the one to get upset, but he would be like, Zach Orr, go rile this fucking team up. And he'd be like, and so I think that's what we're getting with Zach Orr. You're going to get a more passion. I think he's the one you're going to see in the middle of the huddle, that type of thing. I saw something, I think it was Sean Merriman said he couldn't tell the difference between the players and Zach Orr because he's still in football shape. And so to me, there's definitely a benefit to having a guy that was in that helmet half a decade ago. Like he was on that football field with some of these guys. And so to be able to then turn around and he bleeds purple, he knows what it's like to be a Raven for life. I mean, I think the X's and O's, I think there's going to be some loss there with Mike McDonald leaving, but you're getting a guy that's probably going to be a little more aggressive, I think, which may not be a bad thing given the secondary. I think in time they probably will have to blitz more with guys like Trenton Simpson and Kyle Hamilton and sending Stevenson off the line. I feel like if the pass rush isn't there on the edge, they're going to have to manufacture a pass rush. Yeah. But they've got the secondary, probably the best secondary in football, pound for pound, when you consider how deep they are.
Hands down, and everybody's healthy, and that's the best part. No, it's so exciting. I can't believe we're filming. It's like 9:40 or like less than 24 hours away. This is crazy. Like we're gonna see. We're gonna wait and see before I say too much. But yeah, we're back. New season's ahead of us. We got, oh man, just an exciting game ahead, and we will be recapping that at some point next week, probably. But yeah, don't forget to like this. Actually, no. Before we go, any last thoughts? Sorry, got ahead of myself.
I was hoping we could do like a score prediction, and I do think Homer and me, I think the Ravens do win. It wouldn't shock me. The Lions went and beat Kansas City last year. It's all hype. The Ravens won, and more. All the different reasons why they're probably going to have a good showing. I think they win by a couple scores, though. Like I think it's close, but I think the Ravens win by like 10 points or something. I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah, Ross, you want to take this?
I don't want to do that. I
No, I think it's going to be a very high quality primetime game. I think it's going to be a close one. Again, you're talking about two of the best offenses in the NFL. AFC, there probably is not. I just don't get it. Complete teams. That's what we're seeing here. And fuck it, we're gonna win. Fuck it, we're gonna win. I don't know the score. I would say probably 7, maybe 10.
Here's a fun question. What's the first offensive play the Ravens run? Is it a handoff? Is it a play action fake? You think it's a read option?
Read option.
Halfback pass.
I love the read option because I think it allows Lamar Jackson to get going. But you also want to give Derrick Henry a chance to get going.
It gives the defense a first chance of who the fuck has the ball.
Yeah.
The RPO is the biggest thing I'm interested in because I think that's something that like he's got it down with Gus. He did not have it down with like a Dalvin Cook. No. And so they obviously had all offseason to get it down, but it's game time. It's different when Chris Jones is fucking coming up the ass because your right guard can't block him. And I don't know. I'm really intrigued by this. But I think the fact that a defender has to pick which player has the ball and they don't know who has it until Lamar gets. Just kidding. Derek's got it and he's going left. Like, that's insane to me.
Well, what makes it even better is even if they guess right and it's Derek Henry, that's still not a guarantee.
They got to tackle him.
Yeah.
They're still going to tackle him.
Yeah. I
send the wrong guy on that read. It's like, oh, crap.
I haven't had a chance to play Madden. Sorry, Ross. I didn't cut you off.
How was it? How'd it go?
No, I've been crack addicted to NCAA. I haven't had a chance. So usually by this time, I will have had time to play with the offense, see what it's like. Ross, what's it like?
It was fun. The one game I played. It was
just one game so far, Ross.
I had to go back and I don't start a franchise until they do the actual updated rosters
They're a
with the preseason
traditionalist. We
cuts.
understand.
Yes.
Well, because that will have all the undrafted players that actually made the team. Speaking of which, the safety from Maryland, who I thought we should have drafted, made the team.
Nice.
Boy, boo.
When, as like Toy Smith pointed out, every year they've had a Terp on the team that won a Super Bowl.
Who do we have in 2000?
Jermaine Lewis.
Ah,
And also Webby, 12 years.
Jesus.
But what do you say? Darius Webb?
No,
He can get American.
No, he said
2000 was the first one was Jermaine Lewis, the other one was Torrey Smith.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then also like I said, it's every 12 years, and the last one came after a heartbreaking defeat in the AFC Championship game.
I'm not saying too much more to that. That's just getting me way too hyped because I just remember how we felt in 2012. That season was so special. But it is lining up. I don't want to say too much because I'm a jinx. Again, Ravens, most superstitious fan base in the NFL. Hands down. We're getting our Super Bowl wins down to numbers at this point.
I mean, at this point, Lamar Jackson has nothing more to prove. He's got 2 MVPs, 4 Pro Bowls, 3 All Pros, 55 wins in 70-some games. Like, it's literally like we don't give a shit until January. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is. Same with the Chiefs. And I think tomorrow you're going to see 2 teams that are just, it's the beginning folly. I don't think anyone's going to take too much away from it unless one team is blown out by the other.
Yeah.
I think you look at the best 2 teams in the AFC running away. I don't think there's anyone who's I think everyone else is legitimately flawed, whether they're lacking receiving or lacking defense or lacking a run game, all of the above.
Yeah.
Or defense, yeah.
No, we're watching again. In my prediction, if I had to make a bold prediction, I'm going to make one. This is the 2025 AFC Championship game.
Badass over here. Odds are very high. The Chiefs have been in it the last 5 years, and the Ravens.
I don't see them stopping unless we stop them.
We have to fucking shit the bed in the divisional round, which we could do. We've been known to do that, but
every
I
year
think that this team has gotten over that hump, and now they've gotten to the next mountain. And if we know Lamar Jackson, he manages to climb each time.
Each one?
Healthy, that is. So I think I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the opportunity.
He's in a Gatorade commercial now.
Yeah, did y'all see that? The Gatorade commercial?
No, I didn't see that.
He's in a Gatorade
shit, I'll
commercial.
send you the link, dude. It makes me want to go buy some Gatorade.
No,
Derrick Henry's in a State Farm commercial. Like, what is happening? We're gonna see Derrick Henry in State Farm 5 times tomorrow.
That's crazy.
Hold on, we need to find a third Heisman player so we can do our Heisman package again.
Oh shit!
Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, you're right.
We don't have a third. Well, speaking of quarterback, Snoop's back.
Oh yeah, Snoop's
basically he's what I guess he's going to be our emergency quarterback.
He was the free agent pickup of the year. Like, to me, like that.
No man, this is complete. Now
Lamar Jackson can get hurt, and we can actually have a chance to win because you can just hand it up to Derrick Henry. Like, we didn't have that. If we had Derrick Henry when we played the Bengals, we would have gone to the Super Bowl. Like, to me,
because Tyler Huntley wouldn't be doing a QB dive over the.
No, he wouldn't have been. He's a great game manager. Like, you can't name me a better backup. I'm sorry. When it comes to being a system quarterback,
he's a Pro Bowl quarterback.
We all were like, "Oh no, Snoop's gone. Why did he go to the Browns?" We sent him to the Browns.
It was an inside job.
Said,
we also saw Leary and was like, "This guy sucks. We gotta get this guy to fuck."
But by the way, I questioned that pick those last few picks the Ravens made. He was one. I was like, why did we take him there? We could have got a quarterback later.
It's like Madden Ross. At that point, it's fucking D players, and you don't give a shit anymore. It's 2 a.m, and you're fucking drunk, and you're like, fuck it.
Well,
you trade away all your other picks. You only have 9 7s. You don't care.
No,
you're gonna trade for Josh Allen anyway.
This is what happens when the QB coach pick go in the draft room. Is I want that guy.
It's like steel. And he's like a 71. You're like, God damn it.
Oh shit. Yeah, no,
Classic.
I saw enough of him. No, I'm so glad Stu's back again. Josh Johnson is like, all right, whatever, old man.
Well, remember, game day, Josh Johnson will be our backup quarterback. Tyler Huntley is basically going to be that third quarterback that you call from the practice squad.
We'll
At least for
see.
now.
We'll
For
see.
now.
I think it's game one. I think after this, you've got 10 days before you play. What is it? The Raiders. I think you see Huntley for game two. Mostly because Huntley's going to play in that game, probably the last quarter entirely.
We're
50
number
to
18
fucking
now.
10.
Hope so.
Yeah, he also has to wear number 18 now.
The man's getting paid six figures to hold the clipboard for Lamar Jackson. I don't think he gives a shit. Life's good. Life is good for Tyler Huntley. He got a little vacation in Cleveland. He's back to work now.
Is he making six figures?
Hold on. That
I would imagine they're making six figures as a backup, right?
I know, but he might have gotten paid more than that.
Oh, yeah, he might. He's definitely making over $1 million.
Man's got a fucking Pro Bowl on his resume for sure.
Yeah, fuck, man. You got to put some respect on his name.
Tyler Huntley contract. Let's see this.
Let's not forget, he's also he's got a practice squad contract.
Oh yeah, guess how much he's making for 1 year, you guys?
$2 million.
His signing bonus was $500,000. Let's just put that out there.
Damn.
He's making $12 million a year. $1,300,000.
That's to be a backup, not even get hit.
Oh no, so 160 of that signing, 500,000 of that's guaranteed.
Dude, you just bought a house. You're good, man.
And that's just 1 year deal. I mean, here's what he made before that.
Well, yeah, because like I said, we picked him up off I think waivers. The Browns waived him.
But off waivers.
So remember, this is remember if anything, that could be what the Browns were paying him because they thought he was going to be their backup.
Look,
just can't believe that Watson is $72 million against the cap with like a shitload of that dead. Like you can't do anything about it. Like 50 of that dead money. That's the worst contract in the history of football.
Like there's gonna be an ESPN 30 for 30 on it at some point. At some point. Because what the hell? Like, look, here's the thing. And again, I feel like we say this every year. You never know. Deshaun Watson can show up. Dude, Deshaun Watson ain't been there in like 4 or 5 years.
Dude's like 30 years old now. No offense, guys, but like, it's a fuck. He's old.
Yeah. It's like Bro's Wash has barely played since getting to Cleveland. He performed the biggest heist in NFL history.
He doesn't have Hopkins anymore. He was really good when he had one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's got fucking Cooper. You know, God, who gives a shit? Cooper and their running game.
Shit about him like what?
Capital
years ago.
Yeah.
You got David Njoku to throw. Hopefully Nick Chubb's knee is going to hold up, bro. Like the Browns are in distress. And they got rid of Flacco. That's crazy to me. That's Flacco.
Yeah. And I don't think the defense does as well this year as it did last year. I just don't. I think except with the Ravens, everything has to go right to have a historic defense. Yeah. They'll be good. The Ravens will be solid. But I think like you're asking a lot for a team to have like 30 sacks and 50 interceptions. Like
we'll be fine. We're gonna be fine.
It's good. It's fine.
It's gonna be great.
We're gonna score a lot of points, and I think it's not gonna matter what our defense does. Probably most games.
It's gonna be a fun fucking game, and I'm off Friday, so yeah, life's good. But any last thoughts before we get out of here? I think.
You want to go first, Ross?
Nah, nothing with that. Those were our last thoughts.
Those were the last thoughts. Shit. All right. Well, that does it for our show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Baltimore Ravens take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. It is going to be a hostile environment. Wouldn't expect nothing less. Would not expect nothing less than 10 Taylor Swift appearances, but we shall see. Take care. Go Ravens.